Can you say 3 nice things about Nicki Minaj?
Can you? I hated it because it...
Really?
Mariah Carey, the legendary singer known for her incredible voice and whistle notes, has had some well-known conflicts with other artists throughout her career. At 56, she has been open about her feelings toward several musicians, creating some of the most memorable moments in pop culture history. The Jennifer Lopez feud. One of the most famous celebrity feuds in music history began with 3 simple words from Mariah Carey. I don't know her. When asked about Jennifer Lopez during a red carpet interview in the early 2000s, Mariah delivered this line with perfect calm, creating one of the most quoted moments in pop culture. At the time, both women were global stars, but on different paths. Mariah was already an established legend with many #1 hits and platinum albums. Jennifer Lopez was moving from acting into music, working with the same record label, and trying to make her mark in the pop world. The real problem between them might have started in the recording studio. According to rumors, the conflict began in the late 90s, when Mariah was working on music for her movie, Glitter. She planned to use a sample from Yellow Magic Orchestra's Firecracker song for her track Loverboy. However, just weeks later, Jennifer Lopez released her single, I'm Real, which used the exact same sample. This forced Mariah to change her song and find a different sample. What made this situation worse was the man behind it all, Tommy Mottola. He was the head of Sony Music and also Mariah's ex-husband. Mariah has said that Mottola had too much control over her personal and professional life and was abusive toward her. In her book, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, she accused him of sabotage and emotional manipulation. Many people believe he let Lopez use the sample first as a way to hurt Mariah's career. When you understand this background, I don't know her becomes much more meaningful. It wasn't just Mariah refusing to acknowledge another pop star. It was her refusing to give attention to someone she saw as being used to hurt her career during a difficult time in her life. The quote became a cultural phenomenon. Fans turned it into memes, reaction videos, and social media posts. It became the perfect way to dismiss someone with style. Even people who didn't know much about the music industry understood the attitude behind it. Years later, Mariah tried to soften the comment, saying she was just being honest and trying to say something nice or nothing at all. But by then, the phrase had taken on a life of its own. Jennifer Lopez has also commented on it, saying in a 2010 TV appearance that Mariah must be forgetful because they had met many times. In the 20 years since that famous quote, Mariah and Jennifer have rarely been seen together publicly. There has been no big makeup moment or joint performance. They continue to build their separate careers, with Mariah known as the vocal queen, with an amazing range, and Jennifer as the multimedia star, with success in music, movies, and business. The Nicki Minaj conflict. In 2013, Mariah joined the judging panel of American Idol, expecting to help mentor new singers. Instead, she found herself in one of the most uncomfortable situations in the show's history, clashing with fellow judge Nicki Minaj. From the beginning, there was tension between the two women. What should have been friendly conversation between judges often turned into arguments and passive-aggressive comments that made everyone uncomfortable, including the contestants and crew. The situation exploded during a closed audition session when video leaked of Nicki yelling at Mariah, saying, "I told them, I'm not putting up with Her Highness over here." While Mariah stayed mostly calm, the tension was obvious to everyone watching. After her contract ended, Mariah didn't hold back about the experience. She described it as going to work every day in hell with Satan, though she didn't mention Nicki by name. She explained that she expected American Idol to be about music and mentoring, not drama and reality TV theatrics. The experience was so bad that she deeply regretted taking the job. Nicki Minaj fought back with her own comments and social media posts, once sarcastically tweeting, All them number ones, but you acting like a number two. She accused Mariah of being insecure and threatened by her presence. The feud represented a clash between different generations in music, the established diva versus the newcomer who refused to back down. It became a symbol of how different styles and personalities can clash in the entertainment industry. The Madonna dismissal. Mariah's conflict with Madonna was quieter but just as cutting. In an interview from the late 1990s, when asked about Madonna, Mariah replied with cool detachment, "I haven't paid attention to Madonna since I was in like 7th or 8th grade when she used to be popular." This wasn't an angry outburst, but a calculated dismissal. Mariah was suggesting that Madonna was no longer relevant, at least not to her. The comment came during a time when both women were making headlines, but they occupied very different spaces in music and culture. Mariah was known for her vocal skills and mainstream appeal, delivering powerful ballads and radio-friendly pop songs. Madonna, on the other hand, was known for pushing boundaries with edgy content and constantly reinventing herself. While both were successful, their approaches and fan bases were very different. There may have been underlying tension because Madonna had often made dismissive remarks about other female pop stars, positioning herself as a pioneer among less visionary peers. Mariah's "ent" seemed like her way of saying she wasn't interested in being compared to Madonna or considered her follower. Interestingly, Madonna never publicly responded to the comment, which in some ways made it even more powerful. The silence suggested that perhaps Madonna didn't consider Mariah worth responding to, creating her own version of "I don't know her." The two stars have largely avoided each other since then, with no collaborations, interviews together, or joint performances. Their names have remained separate in any meaningful musical sense, and they've let the silence speak for itself. The Christina Aguilera shade. While not as explosive as some of her other conflicts, Mariah's tension with Christina Aguilera produced one of her most subtly devastating moments of dismissal. During an interview in the early 2000s, Mariah was praising an unnamed singer for being really cool and not oversharing personal details. When the interviewer suggested she might be talking about Christina Aguilera, Mariah quickly cut in with a sharp, "No, but anyway," and moved on. Her tone was dismissive, and her pivot was immediate. To fans familiar with Mariah's style, it was clearly shade. The two singers had often been compared because both had powerful vocal ranges and rose to fame in the 1990s. Mariah had established herself earlier with her whistle notes and chart-topping hits. Christina came later with songs like "Genie in a Bottle" and quickly earned a reputation for her strong voice and willingness to reinvent herself. While Mariah had carefully built her image as mysterious and private, Christina had taken a bolder, more open approach, especially with albums like Stripped. She spoke openly about personal struggles, sexuality, and her growth as a woman and artist. For someone like Mariah, who kept her private life private, Christina's approach may have seemed like too much sharing. The "no but anyway" moment was significant because it broke through Mariah's usual diplomatic approach and showed her real opinion. Yet she never followed up with direct insults or public attacks. Instead, she let that moment speak for itself, trusting that fans and Christina would understand exactly what she meant. Reports also surfaced that at a private party, Christina had approached Mariah while drunk and tried to start a conversation. Mariah later said Christina's behavior was inappropriate and made her uncomfortable. Christina denied any wrongdoing, but the incident added to speculation about their relationship. The Eminem battle. Perhaps the most public and bitter conflict Mariah has had was with rapper Eminem. It began in the early 2000s when Eminem started claiming publicly that he and Mariah had dated. He described their relationship in interviews and suggested it had ended badly, painting Mariah as emotionally unstable. Mariah repeatedly denied that any romantic relationship had happened. She said they had talked and hung out a few times, but that was it. She could count the number of times she'd seen him on one hand. This denial seemed to anger Eminem, who began attacking her in his music. Over the years, Eminem referenced Mariah in multiple songs, often in crude or mocking ways. Songs like Superman and Bagpipes from Baghdad included insults directed at her, with Eminem painting her as obsessive and desperate. His anger seemed to come from what he saw as her refusal to admit they had been together. Mariah stayed mostly silent until 2009, when she released Obsessed, one of the most legendary comeback songs in pop music history. While it sounded like a catchy breakup song, the lyrics were clearly aimed at Eminem. "Why you so obsessed with me, boy? I want to know." The music video was even more direct. Mariah played multiple characters, including a hooded stalker figure wearing a baseball cap, goatee, and baggy clothes that looked exactly like Eminem. The video was bold and funny, completely flipping the story and making Eminem look like the unstable ex who couldn't let go. Eminem responded with "The Warning," an aggressive song where he claimed to have voicemails and private details that proved their past relationship. He threatened to release them if Mariah continued to provoke him, and also brought her husband, Nick Cannon, into the conflict. Nick Cannon defended his wife publicly, criticizing Eminem for attacking a woman and challenging him to prove his claims. But Mariah never responded to "The Warning" or escalated the feud further. She let her music and silence do the talking, while fans debated whether Eminem's anger came from hurt feelings or just wounded pride. The Whitney Houston respect. Interestingly, not all of Mariah's relationships with other major artists were negative. Throughout the 1990s, the media tried to create a rivalry between Mariah and Whitney Houston, two of the most powerful vocalists of their time. With both singers having incredible vocal ranges and massive success, it seemed natural for the press to pit them against each other. But according to Mariah, those rumors were completely false. She consistently pushed back against the idea of a rivalry, saying the industry loved to create drama between successful women for attention and sales. She had nothing but admiration for Whitney and her career, often acknowledging that Whitney was an icon long before she entered the scene. This mutual respect became clear when they collaborated on "When You Believe," an Oscar-winning song for the 1998 animated movie The Prince of Egypt. The duet showcased both their incredible voices and proved they could share the spotlight without ego or competition. Even more memorable was their appearance at the 1998 MTV Video Music Awards, where they presented together wearing matching brown Vera Wang dresses. What seemed like an awkward fashion mistake was actually planned. Whitney joked, "Oh no, this is not what I meant when I said we should wear the same thing." Then Mariah playfully tore off her skirt to reveal a shorter version underneath, and Whitney did the same. It was charming and funny, proving they were friends, not enemies. People who worked with both women during their collaboration described professionalism and mutual admiration. While both were known for being particular about their work, there was no diva behavior during recording sessions. Instead, there was laughter, warmth, and the chemistry of two icons working together. When Whitney tragically died in 2012, Mariah's reaction was heartfelt and emotional. She described herself as heartbroken and called Whitney a once-in-a-lifetime voice. In a Good Morning America appearance, she said it was very difficult to talk about and that they had lost one of the greatest singers who ever lived. The pattern of conflict. Looking at all these relationships, a pattern emerges in how Mariah handles conflict. She rarely explodes in anger or engages in dramatic public fights. Instead, she uses calculated dismissal, subtle shade, and strategic silence. Her approach is often more devastating than screaming matches because it suggests the other person isn't worth her energy or attention. Whether it's "I don't know her" to Jennifer Lopez, calling American Idol "hell with Satan" regarding Nicki Minaj, dismissing Mado, Enena as irrelevant. Since middle school, cutting off Christina Aguilera with "no, but anyway," or responding to Eminem's attacks with the perfectly crafted "Obsessed," Mariah has mastered the art of the elegant takedown. These conflicts often reflect larger issues in the music industry, from behind-the-scenes manipulation by executives to generational clashes between established stars and newcomers. They also show how the media loves to create drama between successful women, sometimes fabricating rivalries where none exist. What makes Mariah's approach unique is her ability to maintain her dignity while still making her point. She doesn't usually resort to crude insults or aggressive attacks. Instead, she uses her intelligence, wit, and understanding of pop culture to create moments that become legendary. These quotes and incidents live on long after the original conflicts, becoming part of entertainment history and the language we use to describe celebrity feuds. In the end, whether these conflicts were justified or not, they've become an essential part of Mariah Carey's legend, showing that behind the glamorous image and incredible voice is someone who won't be pushed around and knows exactly how to fight back with style.